Hello and welcome to the 2014 epilogue for my 31 Days of Horror. I'm Joey Hollywood, and this has just been the most exhausting month in a while, actually. I don't think I could properly convey how much work goes into this series that I do every month, every October. It is just hectic. Not only do I have to watch and edit a movie, which normally I don't consider watching a movie work, because I always hate it when I hear reviewers like, oh, I had to watch a movie. I'm like, oh my gosh, you had to be entertained for 2 hours? Oh my gosh, it's horrible. But no, this is different because I was watching movies every day. Like, it was, like, there were movies I wanted to see, but I didn't want to see necessarily in the order that I watched them in. Like, for instance, I watch John Carpenter movies every Halloween, and I did not watch one John Carpenter movie this month. I watched all vampire movies this month. Every time I had a chance to watch TV, I was watching a vampire movie. It was just so hectic. So then I had to watch all these horror movies and edit them. So when I wasn't watching them, I was editing them. And so I basically no free time. It was just like, while I was watching one horror movie, I was editing the other one. It was what was going on. And man, it was tough. And for some reason I remember last year being easier, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't, because I didn't even finish last year because I lost my voice mostly. But oh my gosh, this was hard. And then I thought it would be fun to do video instead of images this year, but for some reason the image, like, in order to get the video, I had to, you know, either screen the video through my computer or download it, or in many cases, convert footage, which could take up to 3 or 4 hours, depending on how much storage space I had on my computer, which would just lock up my computer forever. And because I'm kind of like an anxious guy, I would just like check up on my computer like every 4 seconds, because, you know, I wanted to edit, because as soon as that video was done, I can edit. And man, it was just nuts. This year this year's season was just crazy. And the thing is, despite this season looking and feeling more professional than last year's, I think last year's was better in the sense that it had a level of fun to it. And that might have been because I was watching a lot of movies that were just bad. They were just really, really bad movies, and it was almost like I was suffering. And I think that added a level of humor to it. And this year I watched mostly movies I liked. There was very few movies I didn't like this year, and I think that kind of may have detracted some of my viewership, because I remember last year I got like 700 views in like 2 days on one video. Where this year I've at most I've gotten 200 views, and the views aren't everything. You know, I like to cater to the audience that's interested in what I'm doing, which I know is not a popular idea, because, you know, you don't get enough because that's not profitable. The thing is, if I'm going to profit off of this, I want to profit off of it doing what I want to do. And unfortunately, what I want to do is not really something that YouTube encourages as like, oh yeah, you'll make tons of money this way. So I'm kind of in the thing of, because if you'll recall, about 2013, I was like really pushing the social medias, and I was basically like Ray William Johnson of the movie reviewer world, and it just wasn't me. You know, I tried to do it, and it just didn't work. So this year, that's why I didn't. You see, I'm so tired right now. I'm rambling. I don't even know how I got to this point, but yeah, this is how tired I am. I really didn't even want to make this video, because I just want to take a nap. I want to rest. I want to be away from YouTube and my computer so bad. But, you know, honestly, it's something I want to do. I really want to do 31 Days of Horror. It's not like this hobby that's engulfing my life. It's something that I know when to put down and walk away and, you know, live my life. But that's what YouTube is. Right now, it's a hobby. The thing I want to be my career is filmmaking. But right now, YouTube is just a hobby. And I need to figure out a way to make 31 Days of Horror, because it's not something I want to give up. I want to make it so I can do 31 Days of Horror and live my life. And I've been tossing around tons of ideas, like maybe starting doing episodes of 31 Days of Horror right now and just slowly doing them throughout the year and having them prepared for Halloween of 2015. That way I just have to upload them, which would cut down on so much work, and I could actually, have fun during October. Hang out with my family, go on dates with my girlfriend and stuff. Because my girlfriend and I actually met on Halloween, and we do something, big every Halloween. So that's another reason why this was kind of taxing. That's why my hair is green, because my girlfriend and I were the Joker and Harley for Halloween, and that was fun. But because of that, I didn't have time to do the social networking, which made me miss out on possible revenue, or letting my subscribers know that there's a new video out. And so next year, there's going to be some changes. My goal for 31 Days of Horror is I want every episode to be like an episode of Joey's Reviews. Thought out, scripted, because I don't know about you guys, but I particularly like my videos to be scripted. I think they come out a lot more professional. I think they just feel better. And that's what I want 31 Days of Horror to be. Because right now, what they are is just a stream of consciousness. I watch the movie and then I talk about it. And you've heard me say this in another video, but I don't feel that is, professional. If you want to be a professional critic, which I'm not saying that's what I am, you can't do videos in like a vlog style. And technically these aren't like really vlogs, but they lack that thing that makes me that makes me proud of them. And I want to be proud of 31 Days of Horror, and that's why next year I'm going to be so much bigger. And I'm actually planning next year to, because this year so many people are saying, hey, could you do this movie? Could you do that movie? And I was like, I can't. I can barely keep up with the movies I have. I'm actually going to announce right now what next year is going to be. So if you want to see me do a movie next year, this is the topic. Werewolves. We're doing werewolves next year. So if you want me to do a specific werewolf movie, put it in the comment section below. I have about like 10 I specifically want to do. I'm not saying which they are, so comment below what werewolf movies you'd like to see me do next year, and we'll see if they make it in. Of course, I'll announce it before October of next year. Get something going. Well, I hate to sound so pathetic on here, but this is a lot of work, and it doesn't seem like it would be. Also next year, I found out that I didn't really like doing video in the 31 Days of Horror. I like how I use clips from the movie. At times I liked it, but I don't know. I like the limitation of using just still pictures, and I think next year I'm gonna alternate between the two, like have it more balanced. Because this year, copyright claims aside, it was just frustrating. And ultimately, I thought it didn't stand out as unique. And, I think using more pictures would be good next year. So there's going to be some changes. I think 31 Days of Horror is going to be a continually changing thing. Like no season is going to be like the previous. So we'll see what goes on there. All right, so what I want to do right now is I want to just give a brief recap. Alright, so what I want to do right now is just give a brief recap on 31 Days of Horror 2014. Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, is one of my favorite silent films, and I really wish I could do more reviews of silent films on this channel, but I really am afraid that I'll come off as a pretentious douchebag. But I had a lot of fun watching this one. I saw a version of it that I've never seen before. I usually see the public domain one. And it was really fun. I really liked talking about this one. I think this ended up being one of the better videos as well. Dracula 1931. This specific version I saw was the one with the alternate score by Philip Glass. And you know, it was a new way of seeing it, and I do think that that is my preferred way of watching it now. Dracula's Daughter. Now, I remember liking this one quite a bit. I remember thinking it looked really gothic, and I thought it was the best looking out of the Dracula trilogy. But the one thing I specifically remember is I really wish it focused more on Dracula's daughter's like dilemma. I think there was the making of a really good story there, but I think it kind of backed down just being like a standard monster movie. Alright, Son of Dracula. This one I've gotten a lot of problems on. I've actually turned off the comments on it. Alright, I like this movie, guys. I know the internet believes that you either love a movie or you hate it, but I honestly just liked this movie. I didn't hate it. Okay, you know, I complained a little bit. I don't think Lon Chaney Jr. is a very good Dracula. I felt that it was a little too, I don't know, I just didn't care for this one as much as the first two movies. Hate me all you want. I still liked it. I just didn't think it was all that great. I thought the other two movies were superior. The Last Man on Earth. Now this one was a real treat. I really wanted to watch this one this year because I didn't really see any other way of me watching it because I never owned this movie. So I'd only ever watch it when it was on TV. So I was really happy I got to see this one again. It's a really good little vampire movie. And if you haven't seen it, you know, check it out. It's the original I Am Legend movie. And I think, from what I remember, it's closer to the book than any of the other movies. Horror of Dracula. This specifically is the reason why I did vampires this year. I really wanted to talk about Hammer horror, which I knew was a risk because James Rolfe does Hammer horror in his Monster Madness. And I'll have to be honest with you, I don't really watch Monster Madness religiously. I think it's a really good show. It doesn't keep my attention as well as, you know, other shows like 31 Days of Horror. But I really wanted to talk about Hammer this year, and I love the Hammer Dracula movies. And this movie is the start of a really great Dracula series. Brides of Dracula is possibly either my favorite or second favorite of the Hammer Dracula series. And it's really weird because it doesn't actually have Dracula in it, but it follows Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, and it's a great movie. It's super gothic. It's Hammer. It's so great. It's just rich with that Hammer goodness. I just eat it all up. I love it. Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Now, I'll have to be honest with you. I always get this movie and Scars of Dracula confused. But it's still fresh in my mind that I still can like remember it. I really like this movie. It's a lot of fun. This is actually my uncle's favorite Hammer Dracula movie. Dracula Has Risen from the Grave is possibly my favorite. I really like the religious themes in it. I like how there's an atheist that has to question his own beliefs because he sees Dracula, which represents everything that he gave up religion. And here's Dracula proving that, you know, there is a God. And that I think is a really cool aspect. Because usually in horror movies, that's not done. Usually it's a religious figure finding out that there is no God. And I thought it was really cool that they did that in this movie. And maybe there's others, but I haven't really seen it, or at least not seen it done well. And I like this movie. You should definitely check out this one. Taste the Blood of Dracula. You know, I like this movie a lot. I think there's some cool imagery in it, but there's always something lacking in it. And I hear from a lot of people that this is their favorite one. And, you know, that's fine. You know, I like it. It's just not one that's my absolute favorite. It's a good movie, though. Scars of Dracula. The thing that sticks out in my mind about this movie is it is the most graphic of the Hammer horror movies. I think this was the one that really transitioned from, you know, Universal to Hammer because, you know, the other Hammer movies, yeah, they were bloody and the blood was super vibrant, but there wasn't as nearly as much gore as there is in Scars of Dracula. Dracula 1972 AD, or its alternate title, Dracula AD 1972, is a guilty pleasure of mine. I really find this movie entertaining in a so bad it's good way. Plus you got Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee duking it out, and it's, you know, it's a fun movie. The Satanic Rites of Dracula. I do not like this movie. It's a hard watch, and the only way I got through it this year was with the help of Elvira. Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires is an entertainingly bad movie. It's so bad it's good. It's a movie that I've watched a few times and I still don't know what's going on, but it's just a wacky mess. Nosferatu the Vampire. This is the first time I've seen this movie, and coincidentally, this is the first video of this year that got a dislike. And I don't understand why. I really, you know, I kind of praised the movie, so I guess someone just didn't like Nosferatu. the remake anyways. I thought it was a good movie. There's just things that I found questionable in it, but overall I found it to be a decent remake. I'd rather see the original, honestly, but it's good, and I think I'm definitely picking it up on Blu-ray. Fright Night is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. For some reason, I had this thing in my mind that there's probably a bunch of fanboys online just, praising this movie. I thought I should probably point out a lot of the flaws in it, and I really regret that because I come across as kind of a jerk and that I hate the movie and that I love the movie so much. This is my favorite vampire movie. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. Life Force. This movie is a weird one. It's so bizarre, but I wouldn't necessarily call it bad. It's so weird. It's full of gore, nudity, and utter strangeness. If you like weird 80s movies, you can't pass up this one. Near Dark. Now this one I was surprised at because I was expecting to absolutely love this movie because it was so highly recommended to me. But I found it to be just okay. Like, I didn't hate it or nothing, but, if I found it in a $5 bin, I'd probably pick it up and watch it a few times. The Lost Boys. Now, this was the first time I've ever seen this movie, and, I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I'm honestly surprised it took me this long to see it. It's a good movie, and, I would say you should check it out, but you probably already have. Fright Night Part 2, I believe this is an underrated classic. And you know me, I don't use the word underrated. I think the word underrated is overrated. And in fact, you know what, so is the word overrated. But that's a topic for another time. This movie's a lot of fun. It really does what sequels should do. It takes your characters and puts them and shows them later on. I don't even know how to explain this one. I just really like Fright Night Part 2, and I wish there was a proper release of it. Matter of fact, I wish there was a Fright Night Part 3. Bram Stoker's Dracula, I think, is a really good movie. Honestly, I don't understand some of the hate towards it. I think it's a great movie, and I think if you like vampire movies and you like Dracula, you can't go without seeing this one. From Dusk Till Dawn is a really good movie. It's what happens when you get Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez just making a crazy movie. It's a lot of fun. You should definitely check it out. From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money is a movie that gets a lot of hate, and I think it's really unjust. It's got a really good visual style, and it's from Scott Spiegel, from, a descendant from the Evil Dead movies. I can't say you have to like this movie, but I really think, I think the hate towards it is unjust. From Dusk Till Dawn 3 is crap. I never want to see this movie again. 30 Days of Night is probably one of the best vampire movies in the last 10 years. It's really dark. It takes place in the snow, and I love horror movies that take place in the snow. Definitely give this one a watch. The Lost Boys: The Tribe is a really, really bad movie, and I was kind of surprised, honestly, because I thought it would be a little bit better than it was. And you know what? They kill off Tom Savini in the first 5 minutes. Screw you, movie. Stakeland was the only movie this year that was a recommendation from you guys, and I'm really glad I watched it. It was a really good movie. It sort of reminded me of The Battery, but without comedy, and I really liked it. You should definitely check it out. I think it's worth watching. It's on Netflix right now. Lost Boys: The Thirst is definitely better than Lost Boys: The Tribe, but it is by no means a good movie. It's really influenced by movies like Blade rather than Lost Boys. And I can't say it's a good movie, but it's definitely more watchable than the second one. The Fright Night remake, I think, is a good remake. It has some flaws that are undeniable. There are flaws in it, like the horrid CGI in it. But I think all around it is a decent remake that I don't mind owning. Fright Night 2 New Blood is not a sequel. It is a blatant remake of the 1985 film. And for everything that they did right in the 2011 remake, they did wrong in this movie. And unfortunately, they did a lot right in the 2011 remake. So there's a lot wrong with this movie, but on the upside, everything they did wrong in the 2011 movie, they did right in this movie. For instance, Evil Ed is actually, recognizable as Evil Ed. Not a good movie. If you're a completionist, I'd say you should get it. It's not so bad that it's unwatchable, but it's definitely not good. Dracula Untold was kind of a conflicted review. The movie starts off really good, and it made me second guess my opinions going into it. I was like, hey, this movie's not that bad. And as the movie progressed, it just got worse and worse. And it's kind of disappointing because I went in thinking like, this movie's probably not going to be that good. I'm like, wow, this movie's pretty good. And then it just went like, wow, this movie's getting kind of stupid. And like, wow, this movie's getting really bad. And then at the end, I was like, screw you, movie. That was stupid. I never want you to have a sequel. And unfortunately, this is probably going to be the start of a Universal Monsters cinematic universe. And it's a bad start. I hope that they just forget about this movie and start again and do it right. Well, that's it for 31 Days of Horror. Before I go, I want to personally thank my Patreon subscribers. You guys, thank you. The extra cash you've given me is such a major help. It's like, I honestly feel like when I first started doing Patreon, I was like, man, I feel like I'm begging for money. And honestly, you guys don't have to donate. It's just like, if you have some spare change, it's kind of like because although I do want my career to be filmmaking, I can't do that right now. So YouTube is kind of like that step in between, and that little extra cash helps me make my videos more professional. It gives me, it's kind of like that thing where you have to have money to make money. Unfortunately, I don't have money. And you guys donating just $1 here and there, it has really honestly helped me. I'm getting a terabyte hard drive with the money you've given me, because originally I was going to get an SD card, but I got a wonderful donation of an SD card, and thank you if you're watching it. Thank you. But I'm going to get a terabyte hard drive for my computer to help my computer run faster when I'm editing. Any money I get from YouTube or Patreon goes into my YouTube channel. I don't spend it on myself. Well, technically, I guess I do, but I don't spend. I'm not going out to the movies or buying stupid stuff with it. I'm getting stuff that will benefit these videos that you watch, the videos that you essentially are paying for. And you don't have to pay me, but you find it in yourself to in the goodness of your heart to go like, hey, this guy's a struggling artist. I think I'll toss him a few bucks every month. That's really cool. And you don't have to do that. Some people interpret this as like begging, and I don't think of it that way. If I did think I was begging, I feel like a big jerk, honestly. But thank you guys. It really means a lot. That's pretty much it. I'm really hoping next year is just going to be bigger and better. Something I can be proud of, because this year was good, last year was good, but it's not what I want it to be. And next year, I think it's going to be exactly what I want it to be. So here's hoping. Next year is going to be crazy with me hopefully making Manos, because I'm starting an Indiegogo to raise money for my first feature-length movie, which is going to be a remake of Manos: Hands of Fate. And hopefully it will be, nearing completion of Manos in October, which will making videos for 31 Days of Horror is going to be difficult after that. But I really hope the Indiegogo is successful for Manos, because I'm going to look really stupid if it doesn't work, because I got like 31 videos basically begging people to check out the Manos Facebook page. So, but luckily I have a plan if we don't make our goal, because I have a plan, and I'm going to announce it on the Manos Remake Facebook page. So if you're not if you want to stay up to date on that, that's the page, that's the Facebook page you should be checking out. And later on there'll be an information thing on this channel, but you want to get it first, that's the channel. I should stop talking now. I am so tired and exhausted from doing videos and Halloween stuff that I just need a break. I need to play some Batman Arkham Asylum or something, I'll do Joker makeup or something, I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are half the reason why I do this. The other half is just because I like doing this. and you know that I want it to be something big and special. So thank you guys. You're wonderful. See you in my next video, or if you're one of those people that only watch for the Halloween stuff, you know, see you next year. And if you haven't already checked out this already, check out Water Cooler Films' 31 Horror Movies in 31 Days. It's fantastic. It was the inspiration for this series. Check it out. So I will see you whenever. Bye.